In this video, we'll be covering how to add your customers into your AMP program. To start, let's go over to the Users and Locations tab at the top. And then on the side, select Customers. Now, just like our rep training video, you have two options to start with. We can use Excel to bring in an existing list of your customers, or you can start with our example table just to give you the structure, those commonly used column headers, and start adding them from there. For this video, we're actually going to take the Excel route. I'm going to go into my computer here, and I've got a sample dealer list already prepared, and then I'm going to hit upload. So here's my one customer in my Excel file, and we need to tag these columns so AMP knows what to do with this information. So our first column here, that's going to be our customer ID. What's important about the customer ID is, like our SKU column for the product table or the rep email address in the rep table, the customer ID column is a set of data that can't be edited once it's loaded in. It can be added or removed, so I can add more customers or delete old customers, but I cannot retroactively go in and change these numbers. It is, in fact, holding the structure for the rest of this row. It's also being attached to sales history. So if you were to edit this number, it could no longer find sales history associated to this customer. That being said, before you upload your customers, be sure that you're using IDs that make sense for the long run. From there, we have our customer name. So when a sales rep browses their list of customers, they can identify them by name. Phone number. That doesn't have a function in AMP, it's just additional information. Now, billing address and shipping address do have functions. When a rep goes and fills out an order and they get to the cart screen, the cart will auto-populate the billing and shipping information for the order. So that's important to have. Contact person, that's just more additional information that's nice to have. Now we have our contact email. Again, like the billing and shipping columns, contact email will auto-populate when a rep is filling out an order. So when they hit send on an order, it'll CC the customer, so they get a copy and notified of the order has been placed. Then we have territory code. This is very important as this ties together the rep table and the customer table. So I have a list of reps, and each of those reps has their own code. And then in the customer table, I'm assigning those reps to my customers. So when the rep logs in, they've got a list of dealers. And now, for example, MC here will have the ability to see Bob because I've attached the same territory code here. And you can list multiple reps, just separate them by commas. Then when a rep selects that customer, you can assign them specific price options. I would assign them a price list called price 1. So let's tag that as allowed rep price list. Then if you're signed up for our AMP shop program, which allows the dealers to log into AMP independently and browse and shop and place orders without a sales rep, you'll want these two columns as well. So an authorized buyer email and allowed buyer price. So what email address they will use to log into AMP, and what price will they have available to them when they are shopping alone without a sales rep. So let's tag those. There we go. So we've tagged all of our columns. Let's hit accept the upload. So I went from an Excel file to loading it into AMP and then tagging these columns so AMP knows how to handle each column here. There we go. So we've started our table. From here, I can make edits using edit table if I like, which will transform this into an editable view. Or I can click add a customer to add another row here. Or I can click on the customer ID to make edits one customer at a time if I like. So I can come in here and this is kind of like a form view. I can delete the customer or lock in a new change here. A fourth option besides Excel, edit table, or add a customer is hooking up to your backend system. So an API route where you can send a file, an Excel file, automatically from your system right into AMP. Now let's touch on these blue columns here on the far right. In my mind, the easiest way to kind of explain these is it's kind of like a spell check. So this is, for all intents and purposes, saying what AMP is doing as far as showing pricing. And if you read the top here, what does my rep see for this particular customer and their price option? And if my buyer logs in by themselves, what do they see as a price? And I say spell check because what you're listing here is the name of the header in your product table. So if we take a quick look at your product table, I'm going to open this up in another tab here. And if you're going through the training course, we haven't covered the product table yet, but we will shortly in another video. You have columns here dedicated to the prices. And these headers here are how we grab the names of these prices and assign them on the customer table. So like I mentioned earlier, we have a column named price one, and that is a price list one here on my customer table. Now, if I were to, let's kind of typo this. I took out the space here. Now you'll notice in this blue column, there's no price listed. That's because this table is looking for a price list with a header of price one without a space, when in fact in our product table where it's looking for that price information, that is not currently a price column. Now one step further, let's remove a price altogether from this column. Now all of a sudden I have several prices. And that's because in our product table we've designated that there are general prices and also exclusive prices. General prices mean if I have a customer that I have not specifically designated a price to, then you have given the flexibility for the rep or the dealer to pick a price that you have tagged as general. So if we look at the product table, I have a couple price lists in here tagged as general, but I also have these price lists tagged as exclusive. That means nobody can see these prices unless I specifically say you can. First, anybody can see these prices if I have not yet designated them. Again, we'll cover this in a product table video. So let's go ahead and adjust this back to price one. And now AMP can find that price, and we can verify that in the blue column there. So now that we've added our first customer, we've assigned them to our sales rep and said the rep can see this price. And if the buyer logs in by themselves, they can see this price. If you have the AMP Shop product, the last step would be to invite the dealer. So let's go to our overview screen in the top left corner. Now, just like our rep video, we need to send them an invite email. So we have a bucket for our sales reps. We also have a bucket for our buyers. So there's that Bob email, the customer store, dealer. Let's send them an invite. So click that link. You select the dealer you want to invite and hit send invitation. And below you can preview the email they will receive. It'll be your company logo, your company name here, their login credentials if they've never logged into AMP before, and some training resources for them. And then from there, they can log into AMP, into the shopping side, browse your catalog and place orders directly. And they are locked down to this particular price that we've set for the allowed buyer price column. And that is how to set up your customers and grant them access to the sales reps and pricing in AMP.